a few days in Ecclesiastes, and I just wrote an email on this for those people that are on our email list. You got that, and Ecclesiastes is kind of an odd, weird book in the Bible. It's either written by or about or inspired by Solomon, is what many of the theologians say. And it would not be considered positive mental attitude stuff, at least the first 10, 11 chapters of Ecclesiastes. It pretty much says that, what's the point? That's kind of my way of saying it. It's like, you're doing all this work, you're toiling, you're accumulating things, you're elevating yourself, you're getting put in roles, you've got relationships, all of this stuff's going on. And then when you die, it talks about when you die, it's all poof, it's vapor, it's wind, it's vanity, it's all of these words that they use. And it can be a little bit of depressing, even though it's very accurate. It's like real mature conversation. And anyway, I won't go over kind of the end of the story of kind of the real answer, but I do want to mention something from Ecclesiastes 10:10 that I believe applies here. It says, if the iron is blunt and one does not sharpen the edge, he must use more strength, but wisdom helps one to succeed. Let me repeat that. If the iron is blunt and one does not sharpen the edge, he must use more strength, but wisdom helps one to succeed. Now, I hate taking a scripture and then trying to apply it to a teaching, but boy, it screams out the applications that we're looking at in this episode that we're doing today. And this is what I hear when I read that scripture. I hear that if someone is dull, they're not operating with wisdom. I'll go ahead and add my words here. This is not in this scripture, but if they have low character, if they have some of the flaws and all that we're talking about today, they're going to have to work harder and do more to be successful. It's going to take, as it says here, it's going to use more strength. But if they've got wisdom, if they've got some of these characters that we talk about here, the characteristics, then it's going to be more helpful when we define or we look at what success is. So anyway, how about that for a lesson from Ecclesiastes here as we get started? And I wrote here, leadership and life is harder and has more issues for the low character person, or for the person with limited character. Leadership and life is harder and has more issues for the low character person. So it is our desire to have more character and to have the character traits of someone who has strength and has a sharp sword and has more wisdom. So that's our discussion that we're having today. A good leader, this is something that I just came up with recently, and this is something that's been nagging at me for a while.